favorite day of the week. It's time for Motivational Monday. Let's talk NCLEX. We are coming live, the whole Remar team. We are here live in Montego Bay, Jamaica. And let me tell you something about Montego Bay. It is gorgeous and amazing on this wonderful island. And I imagine it's the same all throughout the Caribbean, in Barbados, St. Thomas. You guys know yesterday we had the Nurse Success Summit in Kingston, Jamaica, and it was fantastic. I cannot even describe all of the happenings of that event. So I'm definitely going to have to debrief, take some time, and really tell you guys the amazing things that happened. Literally, I would be here all night if I told you guys the wonderful things that we had happen yesterday in Kingston, Jamaica. And so if you guys are just joining me, my name is Regina Callion. I am the #1 NCLEX instructor on the planet. And today I can say that I actually am feeling that. I'm feeling myself today because I'm here in Kingston. Literally, I am just motivated to go to all the parts of the earth in order to bring this NCLEX information to my students. Yesterday, actually, though, I did an NCLEX review and RE&R, which is the exam that the nurses in the Caribbean have to take in order to get their license to work. So if you guys don't know about Remar Review, listen, we are expanding. This is the year of expansion for Remar Review. And I'm telling you guys, it is going to be a not to miss event for this company. So, hey, I know it was a live group. It was a live review. It was a live review. So you literally had to be there to get all of the information. I don't even have the video anymore. We don't have the video recording. So if you were there, you got it. Hey, Nurse Rachel, thank you for your uplifting words, YouTube videos, and quick facts. I finally passed my boards on the 4th try. Congratulations. Congratulations. We love when Remar nurses jump on Monday Motivation and let us know that they got those big letters behind their name. Nurse Rachel, thank you for coming on here. Nurse Victoria, please, you've been working so hard. Your test is coming, and I don't want you to be nervous about it because you've been preparing. And so your sacrifices will pay off, Nurse Victoria. They will pay off for you. So Remar nurses, I'm here in Montego Bay. I'm actually leaving here, going to Kingston again, and I will be trying to connect with those students who missed the class. And I got a lot of messages today saying, hey, can I still get the RE&R resources? Can I still get quick facts? I heard the package. I heard the DVD International Nurse Self-Study package was on the island. I need it. Yes, Mark and I will be here throughout the rest of the week in order to make connections with you all. So tonight, I want to tell you about our Monday motivation topic. It is, whose hands is it? Whose hands is it? I love this topic. I'm actually going to be reading you something that I think will be very inspirational. But also on the next slide, I have to show you guys this. We will be announcing a new winner at the end of this broadcast. Oh yeah, we are doing this thing where Remar nurses are giving back. And the great thing about it is that we are giving back the entire year. It's not just a one-time thing. So every week, anybody who has invested in themselves and purchased that DVD self-study package, oh yes, you are entered into a drawing to get your NCLEX fees paid for. And this is phenomenal. So let me just put this right here for you guys. And I wish that Mark was prepared today, but it's okay. Let me read this shout out to you. So we are definitely doing this. I just got this testimony. I want you to read it. Hey, Mark, can you grab me some water, please? Hey, hello. I just have to give a shout out to Regina and Mark. Thank you guys for all that you do. I used your book to study, and thanks to your awesome book, I passed my LPN boards for the first time on February 28th. Praise God. Give her a hand, Mark. Mm. Nurse Mary, congratulations. That is amazing. So for nurses who need to do what you need to do, make 2019 your year. That DVD self-study package is an entry into getting your boards paid for by Remar. And we love, excuse me, we love the nurses who are taking hold. Oh, no, let me show you. Before we get into our NCLEX question, which I had this NCLEX question sent to me by a nursing student, and I loved it so much. I'm going to show it to you guys in a second. I love this NCLEX question so much that I said, I'm doing my whole Let's Talk NCLEX based on this NCLEX question. It was so good. It was so good. It was so good. But the topic for Monday Motivation that I want to get into is actually whose hands is it? Now, before I do this Monday Motivation, is there anybody that needs to come on here and let me know that they passed their NCLEX exam? Because that's what we reserve some of this time for. And I'm not back in the States yet. You'll know when I'm back in the States because I'll have my office background, which I love so much. But myself and the team, we're all here in Jamaica serving the nursing students. So we're committed. Tell me where I need to come to next, because I saw some places that people said you need to be here. But we're looking to connect with nursing schools. So if you want to bring Remar to your nursing school, please let us know. Tell us the school, tell us who we need to get in contact with, and we can come and do what we did at the Jamaica Conference Center to your school. So one of the greatest things is when we are able to connect with nursing program directors and just come in and really bless the students, bless the nursing students associations. I mean, however we can, we're willing to make an impact. So good evening, everybody who's joining us. We're about to do our Monday Motivation. Nurse Samuel said, hey, I passed 85. Just simple like that. I love it. I just love it. I passed 85. Woo! The Philippines. Oh, the Philippines. I have a ton of nurses in Florida waiting to meet you. I got you, Valerie. I got you. Definitely Florida is on my list of places to go. I love Florida. You guys know I'm typically in Florida all the time. Boston, gotcha. Somebody said Kingston, Jamaica. I'm there. I'm here. But I did meet a lot of nurses yesterday from Excelsior. And I know I took pictures with you guys. So thank you for coming out. And thank you for coming to that review. Okay. So the Monday Motivation is whose hands is it? Interamericana and San Juan. I love that. All right. Whose hands is it? And what I want to do is, for Monday Motivation, I try to think of a thought that will carry us through the week. And I came across this poem and I want to read it. And it's tough. It's going to be tough for me to read it actually today because I'm struggling a little bit with my voice. And it always happens and never fails. When I really need my voice, it leaves me. So I'm going to try to read this poem. It's just a short poem, but the topic is whose hands is it? Whose hands is it? So let's keep that in mind while I read you these words, okay? A basketball in my hands is worth $12. A basketball in the hands of Michael Jordan is worth $33 million. A tennis racket in my hands is worth nothing. A tennis racket in Serena Williams' hands is worth a national title. A slingshot in my hands is just a toy. But a slingshot in the hands of David is a mighty weapon. Whose hands is it in? A rod in my hands can be used to defend myself. A rod in the hands of Moses can be used to part the mighty Red Sea. Nails in my hands may cause a temporary injury. Nails in the hands of Jesus Christ can produce salvation for the entire world. Whose hands is it in? And so that poem that I read today made me think to tell you all, and even myself, your dreams, your hopes, your relationships, your family, your goals, whose hands are they in? Put them in the hands of God, because in your hands, you may be able to do some things, but when you put them in the hands of God, He has a transforming power to do greater and more wonderful than you can ever think or imagine. And that has been my experience here in Jamaica. We gave this project, the Nurse Success Summit, to God. We literally said, we want to do this, but we need you to take this thing over. We had no idea who would come. We literally put it all in God's hands. And I'm telling you guys, the event, the people we met, how we got blessed. You guys have no idea. Companies that didn't even know Remar were blessing us yesterday. Companies who had no idea who we were had things happen to them, had things come into their business that ended up blessing us that Sunday. And so I'm telling you guys, for this week, whatever you're holding on to, turn it over to God and let Him figure it out and let Him take care of it. And the week will be so much more. It will be so much more peaceful. It will be so much more productive, because you don't have to control every aspect of it. And so my motivational thought for that is just asking yourself, whose hands is it in? Who is responsible? Because the person who's responsible is the person who has to do the work. And so I know for myself, I love to give God responsibilities, because then I know He will do the work much better than myself. All right. So that's my devotional thought for Motivational Monday. Whose hands is it in? Now, let's talk NCLEX, shall we? Are you ready? Are you ready for an NCLEX question? This one is so good. This will be our question for the night. There's just one. I got this from a nursing student. She says, hey, Regina, can you help me figure this question? I can get it down to 2. And you guys know me. Usually when nursing students send me a question, I filter them questions. And I'm like, is this a Remar question? Number 1. Number 2, have you tried it? Have you attempted to do it? Can you give me some sort of rationale? Can you give me what you're thinking? Can you give me what you think it might be, what it's not? I want you to actually try to do the work. So this nursing student said, hey, Regina, I got this question. She didn't even tell me where she got it from, but she said, I can get it down to 2. Here are the 2 that I think it is. Can you help me pick the right one? So I'm all about that. I'm like, okay, let's do this one together. So here's the question, guys. You're going to really like it. Oh, it's a long one, and it's a deep one. Tell me if you heard it. Stop me if you heard this question. The nurse cares for children at a daycare. On a hot summer day, 4 children return from recess with various complaints. Which of the following children should the nurse see first? Here we go. Number 1. A child diagnosed with leukemia was stung by a bee and is complaining of feeling hot and itchy all over. 2, a child diagnosed with hemophilia says she has a headache and has slurred speech. 3, a child diagnosed with type 1 diabetes is sweaty, pale, and complains of shakiness. 4, a child with asthma is complaining of dizziness and a sore throat. She sent me this and said, Regina, it's a lot going on right here. Who do I see first? Oh, and I see the Remar nurses, you guys are trying to answer this one. All different answers, a lot of 1s, a lot of 3s. Hello, everybody coming in. We're doing this NCLEX question tonight. So when she sent it to me, I said, there's a lot to unpack here. The best way for us to get through this type of question, literally, is going to be to break down the priority nursing concerns of every child here. The priority nursing concerns of every child. So I just want to take a second and do it. There are 400 Remar nurses ready to participate on this Monday night. It's a beautiful thing. I love when the Remar nurses come together to study. This will be one for the books. So let's go. Here we go. Let's break down every patient, okay? So number 1 option for children is a child diagnosed with leukemia who was stung by a bee and is complaining of feeling hot and itchy all over. When we look at this client, when we look at this child, what is the priority concern here? What's the priority concern here? Okay, nurse is caring for children at a daycare. This is a crazy daycare. All right, here we go. What's the priority concern? All right, Binks, Twinks says anaphylactic shock may occur. Anybody else? What are you worried about here? The child they were stung by a bee and they're complaining of feeling hot and itchy all over. Pretty much everybody should be saying the same thing. I mean, when I saw this, I'm like, well, the child was stung by a bee. Obviously, they're allergic. They're having some sort of allergic reaction, anaphylaxis, right? Because that's what you are drawn to. If you've been studying for NCLEX, you should relate these signs and symptoms as anaphylaxis. So we kind of know this one, right? That's going to be the child. Right now, this is the child, anaphylaxis shock, airway issues, all right? But we still need to look at the other ones because honestly, all of these children are really sick. So number 2, we have a child with hemophilia, says they have a headache and has slurred speech. Come on, y'all. What is the priority concern for this child? Right here. What are you thinking about? This child is sick, right? Child has hemophilia. So that means they're prone to what? They have hemophilia. They also have a headache. Why would somebody with a hemophiliac disorder have a headache and slurred speech? All right. Yes, I like that, Valerie. I like that nurse. See, Valerie's a nurse now. She's like, something's not right with this. I like that, Sandra. I like that, Unique Diane. So I was like that too. I'm like, okay, so this child is prone to bleeding. This child is prone to bleeding. I'm thinking headache, slurred speech indicates a possible head injury, possible bleeding, right? We're at a daycare. This child, I don't want to read too deep into it, but this child may have fallen, bumped their head. Now they have a head bleed. So now I have a patient with anaphylactic shock, a patient with a possible brain bleed. These kids are bad. These kids are doing really bad right now, okay? But we have to keep going because there's more children to come. So the next child, is there a worksheet? No, this is not a worksheet for this stream. No, this is just the work. This is just a question. All right. So the child, option number 3, what do we have? We have the child is diagnosed with type 1 diabetes mellitus. They're sweaty, they're pale, and they're complaining of shakiness. What's happening here with this child? What's happening with this child in particular? Yeah, we're thinking, I like that, Casey. It's more likely hypoglycemia. Is some irregularity with the blood glucose levels. But the thing is, what is it that causes the child to become shaky and sweaty? Because normally low blood sugar doesn't cause you to do that. There's something else in the body that will cause you to have those symptoms. What are those symptoms? Because when your blood sugar is low, something happens with the body. What happens? That's how I want you to dig deeper. This is like a real Remar nurse question because it separates a level of knowledge. So it's not just that the blood sugar is low, that the body begins to get shaky. When the blood sugar drops, the body will send out something else that will cause those symptoms. What is that something else? I need somebody to tell me. It's not dehydration. Dehydration may be a cause, but what is it? What is it? Overheating, low sugar in the brain, DKA, ketosis, not so much. Heat, not so much. Good answers though. Good answers. Let me tell you what it is. When you guys think of hypoglycemia, that's an irregularity, and the body identifies that quickly. So what the body does is, this is what it'll tell the body to do. It will say, hey, we have an abnormal glucose level. The body goes into a fight or flight response, right? The body's like, hey, you need to do something about this. So when we have the flight or fight response, what is put out? What does the body send out to say, hey, you need a boost of energy to go get whatever you need to put us back into a regular status? What is that thing? What is the thing that causes the body to get shaky? Close. I'm looking for it. What is that thing that causes the body to get shaky and like jittery and like gotta go? Somebody should say it. It's I'm reading it. Not close. So it's normally epi. Yeah, it's normally epinephrine. Epinephrine, that flight or fight, go, do, get. And so the patients, and I talked about this before during Remar Nurse University, I believe. When the body puts epinephrine into the bloodstream, the expectation is that you go and you sprint and you find and you kill and you eat so you feel better. But we as humans, we're not living wild like that. So we sit there. And so what happens is we become shaky, we become jittery, we feel bad, because that's what epinephrine does to us when we don't use it. So this child here, our priorities, okay, we're learning. Our priorities here for this child is, all right, they have a hypoglycemic event. They have a ton of epinephrine going through their body right now. This is what we need to do. We need to do something for them right away, okay? Right away. So that's child number 3. Now look at child number 4. Child number 4 has a breathing problem. Child number 4 has a breathing problem. They have asthma and they're complaining of dizziness and a sore throat. What are you guys thinking of here? When I saw this question, when I saw this child option, I spent like 15 minutes. Everything I tell you guys not to do, like literally I tell you guys to just look at the question, pick the answers, and move on. But when I saw this question, I was like, oh, this is so good. I love this answer option. So I said, the child has asthma and is complaining of dizziness and a sore throat. So what's your priority nursing concern here? Okay, bronchitis, asthma, bronchitis. Erica says airway. Sandy says epiglottitis infection, airway. Dizziness, low O2. Could be, yep. Okay. So I sat there and did all of this stuff, not getting enough oxygen. And I was like, this is the question I asked myself. when I saw this. I said, why would a person with asthma have a sore throat? It didn't sit right with me. I was like, what is this? Why would a person with asthma have a sore throat? And I sat it and I thought, is this a distractor? Is this a distractor? Really, really? And so it took me down on a path of research. But I'm asking you guys at the same time, because I think you can probably figure it out too. A lot of people here I'm seeing are saying infection, side effects of, I guess it's side effects of a med, narrowing airway, infection. Gilly says they don't, right? Right? Why would they? I mean, and that's my thing. Like, if a person has asthma, hello, how are you? If a person has asthma, would asthma on its own cause somebody to have a sore throat? Like, not really. Not really. Like, I've never seen it. I've never read it. So I wanted to make sure that was a true statement. I wanted to make sure. So the priorities of this child here, in my opinion, was, okay, this child has an illness. This child has some sort of cold, or this is a treatment side effect. So a lot of you guys that knew that was like, yeah, when children with asthma take their inhalers, whether they're taking a steroid or a bronchodilator, one of the side effects is they will have a sore throat. So here we have a child that could be serious or could not be serious. So as you can imagine, my student who sent me this question said, I can get it down to 2. So she was stuck between number 1 and she was stuck between number 4. Remember, number one was our client. Let me see, do I have it here? Number 1 was our client with leukemia. They got stung by a bee and was showing signs of an allergic reaction to the bee sting. And the number 4 is the client with asthma who has the dizziness and sore throat. So between 1 and 4. So if you had to pick between seeing child 1 first or seeing child 4 first, who would you pick? That's what I want to know right now. Who is the priority client in your eyes? Who would you see? Who would you see? I want the Remar nurses to put it out there. We're talking about who would you see? Are you going to see the child with anaphylactic shock? Or would you see the child with asthma who is complaining of dizziness and a sore throat? The priority patient here. And I thank you guys for participating because we're all in this to win it. We're in this to win it. And one of the things about winning it is understanding the idea that you don't know everything in the beginning. One of the things about obtaining knowledge is understanding that you gotta know that you don't know everything, okay? So the priority patient, thank you guys for participating. Over 500 Remar nurses on this Monday night motivation. Give yourselves a hand at home for studying on this Monday night with me. All right. So I'm seeing all the answers roll in. I just can't help but read the answers. The correct answer, everyone, is going to be number 1. A child diagnosed with leukemia was stung by a bee and is complaining of feeling hot and itchy all over. This is your priority patient, guys. And you know what? Let me just read this to you. Asthma and anaphylaxis are connected. And they're really similar because really both of your clients can present with difficulty breathing. However, anaphylaxis beats out asthma because anaphylaxis is actually, it's an extreme asthmatic attack. Like if you think about it, and anaphylactic shock is life-threatening every time, whereas asthma sometimes can be treated right away, has progressions of severity. So if a client presents with potential asthma and anaphylaxis at the same time, the anaphylactic shock is always treated first. It's always treated first, no matter what. And did you guys know that? Because asthma and anaphylaxis presents the same, sometimes somebody will start off with an asthma attack and it will progress to anaphylactic shock. Clients with asthma tend to have allergic reactions to many things. So if you have two patients who have difficulty breathing, like if a child presents with difficulty breathing, you look for other signs to discriminate it between just basic asthma and anaphylactic shock. You guys know those other signs would be, is there a rash? Is there hives? Is there itching? If you don't have those other signs, you consider this to be asthma at the time. A client comes in difficulty breathing, the airway is closed. So you're going to treat asthma as you would treat asthma. How do we treat asthma normally? What are we going to give the client? If a kid comes in, and this is nursing stuff, we won't actually order a specific medication as nurses, but what do we expect? What do we expect? If somebody comes in and they have an asthma attack, hey, what are we going to give them? What do we expect the doctor to order? Yes, exactly. We're going to give them some sort of steroid treatment, nebulizers. Yes, I'm reading your comments. Nebulizers, steroid treatments, an inhaler, right? However, bronchodilators, right? It's going to be some sort of inhaler medication. However, if a child comes in, they have difficulty breathing, but not only that, you see hives, you see itching, you see rash. How do you address that? Because you cannot treat anaphylaxis with the same thing you would treat asthma with. That it's not going to work. The client will progress to death if it's not addressed immediately. So how do we treat anaphylactic shock? What medication do we give? Because it's not a bronchodilator and it's not a steroid. You better have this medication and you better have it right away. Yes, Sandra. So if somebody comes in with anaphylactic shock, you better give them epinephrine right away. Okay. So you see that the anaphylactic will always be more life-threatening, and it is treated as such because of the critical nature of the entire disease process. So when you have a child, the doctor comes in. Well, when you have a child, the child presents with difficulty breathing. You can't really make a decision whether it's an anaphylactic shock or an asthmatic attack. The first thing that the doctor will give is epinephrine, because there's no time to waste to try to give a lower medication to see if it works out for the patient. So you always elevate the priority of anaphylactic shock over asthma anytime you see it. And so this was a very great NCLEX question for us to look at, because most of us would never think about having to determine the priority of the two. But NCLEX can certainly put you in that situation to see how much you guys know. So I thank you guys. I really do. I'm not going to hold you long tonight, but I really thank you for sending in those questions, because myself, we get a chance to see them. The team gets a chance to see them. And it just allows us to just discuss and dialogue nursing, which is what I love. And I love that you guys consider me to be a resource and ask me for help when you have tough questions that you come across. I got to announce the winner, of course, but I wanted to also give you my email address if you have never emailed me a question or anything like that. But I got to announce this winner. And the winner for this week is Favis. She's a practical nursing student studying from Las Vegas, Nevada. I loved it when I actually picked her myself. So she will have her NCLEX fees paid for by Remar Review. And I love that we're giving back to the nursing community in this way. Congratulations. Also, shout out to the Remar nurses who are passing their state boards and paying it back to the Remar nurses who are still studying. We are literally getting emails saying, hey, I passed my board. I don't want you to even tell anybody this, but go ahead and bless a Remar nurse. And so it's really cool that people are doing it and not like, hey, I just want to bless somebody. So shout out to all the Remar nurses who are doing that. But congratulations to this week's winner. Again, we're doing a winner every week. Where do you see that done at? Only here at Remar Review, because we literally believe that you can, you will, you must pass NCLEX. You have no other choice. Remember, our Monday motivation this week was, whose hands is it in? I gave you the message. It's in your hands now. So whose hands do you put it in? Hey, that you have to put it in the hands of the one in control. Also, remember that Team Remar is here in Jamaica. So I am really looking forward to coming back to the States, coming back home, planning our next trip. You guys are going to be so excited when you see where we are going next. You're going to be so happy. So keep watching here. Keep watching here. Here's my email for you guys who don't have it. It is support. And that makes sense because we want to support you. Here, support@remarreview.com. And we are able to help you your NCLEX questions. Here, we do this every Monday here at Remar Review. We do Monday motivation and Let's Talk NCLEX. So you have zero excuses why you're not focused on getting your nursing license. You said you wanted it. You said you wanted it. So every Monday, we're coming here to make sure that you don't forget your goal, because 2019, it really is your year to become a nurse. You've done all the hard work. I said this at the conference yesterday. Literally, there are thousands of people who want to be in your shoes. They're waiting to get into nursing school. Do you know that? There are people that can't even get into nursing school. And look at you. You've gotten accepted. You've done all your clinicals. You've walked across the stage. You just have one little test. What I really want to do is I want to plan a destination vacation for all the Remar nurses. I would literally love if all of the Remar nurses could meet up with me in a place like Montego Bay. Wouldn't it be nice if we could all just get together and just celebrate and have a good time on the beach? That's what I would love to do. Let's go to St. Thomas. Let's go to Puerto Rico, wherever, somewhere nice, and meet up. But I cannot do that until you guys pass your NCLEX. And so I'm waiting for you guys. I'm sitting here in Montego Bay, waiting for all the Remar nurses to pass, so we can have this massive 2019 celebration that we passed our NCLEX. Or maybe we should have it in 2020 when you guys are working really good and making that nursing money. Whatever it is, I'm ready to do it. I want to do it with you guys, but you got to pass your NCLEX. So, so let's plan it. Can I do a provisional destination vacation for the Remar nurses? They're going to hold me to it if I do it. Okay, so I need you guys to pass. So this week, we're super focused on our NCLEX. We're super focused on studying. You Turks and Caicos, don't go there. Don't do it. Don't play with me like that. And see, we're going to have a good time. The sun is free. Everything else is here. So no, we're gonna do this for real, but I need y'all to pass. Okay, so this week, let this be your priority, okay? Get your nursing license, pass it. Let's make 2019 the best year. Give yourself the best gift which is your nursing license. Again, guys, I love you all the way from Montego Bay. I will see you guys next Monday with our Monday motivation. Shout out to the Remar nursing team who helped me and all the Remar nurses that helped me yesterday with the conference. It was amazing. And we're going to keep working very hard so that we can be the #1 NCLEX review on the planet. See you guys later.
Hey, future nurses.
Bye.
Are you stressed about getting your license? Here at Remar Review, we believe in faith over fear. I'm Regina Callion, the #1 NCLEX instructor in the world. Tune in to Remar Nurse Radio on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for new episodes every Thursday. We got that exclusive content. You don't want to miss it.